So welcome to my review of Xenoblade Chronicles, the Definitive Edition by Nintendo and Monolith Soft. This is easily one of the most anticipated RPGs of the year. And before I get started, I want to say this is a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to show a lot of the new content. I'm not going to show a lot of the later content because you want to experience that for yourself. I will be talking about a few things, but nothing spoiler related. So let's get into it. Now we go back to 2012 and we have to thank Operation Rainfall for getting this out here in North America. This is the Wii version of Xenoblade Chronicles. This is where we first experienced it on the Wii. And what was it like? It was a very ambitious game on the Wii. I would now actually say one of the most ambitious games, especially being a role-playing game on there and what they were trying to accomplish with the graphics at that time. And I think they did a pretty good job. It was standard definition. I think for myself at that time, I wanted a little bit more. I wanted those high definition graphics because we were in that time period. But the gameplay, the combat, the storyline were excellent. And then next up we got, in 2015, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on the 3DS right here. And how was this? I think for a lot of people who couldn't track this game down, this is a wonderful way to jump into it. A lot of new players first played this game this way. And so this is where we were at this point. Then all of a sudden, we get Xenoblade Chronicles, the Definitive Edition is announced. We're like, what? We're getting this? Because we got Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And then all of a sudden they've gone back and remade. And we have to say that this is a complete remake of the original game. And they've also done quite a few more things. First up, you can pick your language. You can pick English or Japanese. Also, this is a really big deal for this version as well. You can pick the original music or an arranged version of those original tracks. So I will give you an example right now of the original track. And now here is the arranged version. Now, I honestly do think the original music is classic. I think it's absolutely fantastic music. How is the arranged music? It's great. I think for anybody who played it back in the day, they won't be upset with this music. They have done such a great job taking those original instruments and enhancing them. And I think they've done a really good job with the music here. I don't think anybody can be upset about that because, remember, you can always pick the original music or the brand new arranged soundtrack. So how is the story? Has there been any changes to the story? No, the story is pretty much exactly the same. And I'm just going to say the basics of that story is you play as the main character Shulk in Colony 9, and you're going around exploring, trying to figure out the world and what is going on with a certain artifacts that you guys have in your possession. But what is so cool about this game as well is that you're on the backs of two gigantic titans that had this huge battle with each other eons before, and over time both of those titans froze in that combat, and life forms developed on the backs of these things, and you're part of the life forms that have developed and live on these titans. And so I really love that aspect. And of course, you meet other characters, you get way more into the story, and discover the secrets of the Xenoblade world. How are the graphics for this game? Okay, so coming from the Wii version to the 3DS version to this version, this is the best looking version of this game to date. It is the Definitive Edition in that respect. It looks wonderful running around. The world has never looked better. The character models up close look really good. Like the detail on the characters themselves are amazing. I really like the detailed look, especially compared to the older versions of the game. The characters have really been fleshed out a lot more. The environments are beautiful, the buildings are beautiful, NPCs that you meet, really, really detailed. The monsters are awesome. Everything looks fantastic. I gotta say, they did a really good job on the Nintendo Switch with this game, giving it this kind of treatment. Now, I mostly played the game in dock mode on the TV. It looked really good. It looked really nice. A lot of people have been talking, how is it in handheld mode? Okay, I gotta say that when a lot of stuff is going on the screen in handheld mode, yeah, it drops a little bit in resolution for sure. They definitely use some filters in there to make it look a little bit better, but it's honestly not horrible or terrible or game breaking. Not at all. But sometimes, yes, you do see a resolution drop for sure. But overall, on a Nintendo Switch, I'm pretty impressed with these graphics. I think for a lot of people who played the original, especially for me, that standard definition of the original, seeing it in high definition, it looks really, really nice. Now, a lot of newer players will be asking, is this game easy to get into? Is it easy to wrap your head around all of the play mechanics that are in this game? Because I recommended Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and a lot of people said that, oh my god, it's a very complex game to learn. Where I don't really think so here. I think that it's very easy to get into. Yes, there's a lot of stuff to learn, for sure, but it's really basic once you get it. Once you get it, it's a basic RPG where you're running around the environments. The one thing that I do want to say is the tracking for quests is a lot better, a lot more streamlined here. And that's what I gotta say about a lot of the systems in this game. A lot of them have been changed. They've been streamlined. So now with quests, it's a lot easier to know exactly where you're going. There's an auto run function, which is really, really handy when you gotta run a long section of the map. I really like that. The day and night system is back from the original. Load times are very, very good in this version as well. I was looking at, transporting from one section to another. Load times weren't bad at all. Exploring and running around the world are identical. Certain characters' animations are the same as the original. Combat is also the same as the original. It's a real-time action battle system, so as soon as you come up to an enemy, you're automatically engaged in battle, and then you can pick your arts. So your character will automatically attack, but you have arts that you can pick that are defensive and offensive. And the more levels you gain, the more arts you get, the more you improve your characters that way by adding more arts to your arsenal. And also, I love the combo attacks that you have with your party members. They can be devastating at times. Now, one thing that I love with this version of the game, the definitive version of the game, is this. They've added an epilogue. They've added an entire DLC pack that is in the game itself, giving the game 10 to 20 hours more playtime. It's called Future Connected. So what I will say about this, I don't want to ruin anything about this, is that it takes place after the main game. So if anybody who's played the main game, the original, wants to just play this straight away, you can do that. Can you play this just straight away if you haven't played the original? You can, but there's some characters and things that might not make exactly the same amount of sense to you. So I'd recommend doing the first game and then going into Future Connected. And Future Connected, as I say, adds another 10 to 20 hours of gameplay in there, which is crazy because the original game, the main game itself, is probably around 60 to over 100 hours of gameplay if you want to do all of the side quests. There's that much content in this game. Yeah, this is one of those RPGs, when you start to play it, you're like trying to figure out the battle system, you're trying to understand everything, you're like, okay, you get it. And then the deeper into the game you get, you're like, oh my god, this game is incredible. This game is crazy. And as the storyline builds and builds and gets bigger and bigger in scope, and you find out where your place is in all of this, you go, my god, this is a great RPG. In fact, some friends of mine have said that they think this game, the original game, is one of the best RPGs they've ever played. That's a pretty bold statement to make, and I can see it in a lot of ways. It's an incredible game. It's a must-have for RPG fans on the Nintendo Switch, for sure, and even for people who played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 first, and maybe didn't particularly like that game, you'll find something to like here. here's something I'm going to say. I like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, but I like 1. I really like this first game. I think there's something so magical about it, something about that storyline, and I won't get into all the details of that as it goes, as it expands. You're going, oh my god, this game is so big in scope and so brilliant, and it's a lot of fun. The combat is so much fun, and the combat's not always about going in and killing everything. It's about avoiding things as well. Like just going up to like something that's super high level, stay the heck away from it. Come back to it later when you've leveled up. That's the fun of this game. This game gives you a big, huge world to explore on your leisure the way you want to do it, and you can do it the way you want, which is so wonderful. It gives you that freedom, and that's one thing in RPGs that I absolutely adore. And I can say honestly, I absolutely adore this game. I think it's fantastic, and I can't wait for a whole bunch of new players to experience it for the very first time, for sure. So anyways, guys, until next time.